Thank you for joining us this week, guys. This one is going to be something special. We're going to be installing an off-grid system for the kids. We have one in our room. We're going to be installing one in the living room setting for the kids, featuring this GOKWH GOKWH 12.8 100 amp hour battery. It is so cool. It's a LifePO4 battery, lithium iron phosphate. Stay tuned. I have all my equipment set up to install this off-grid system. Little messy, but we're going to clean it up here. So this is the 12.8 volt 100 amp hour 1280 watt LifePO battery by GOKWH. We're going to hook it up to this inverter to keep things charged up. We are going to be using this GOKWH battery with this 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter to do all of our charging of batteries and our SOAR electronic products to make this off-grid system. Let's power up everything to make sure everything is on and functioning. Everything is on. We're going to be using this space right along here to put in the off-grid system. I'm going to be cutting holes in the back of the seating area down below just to put in the recess outlets that we're going to use. So everything for the off-grid system is going to be in this box. And I'm going to give you a closer look to where the off-grid system is going to be and where the recess outlets are going to go. So all the recess outlets are going to go here. So we're going to have the GOKWH plug here. We're also going to have 12 volt outlets, USBs. We're going to have the switch for the inverter. Everything is going to be in this area here, and it has to go from here down. And that's going to be the outside, the display of the off-grid system, so that you know that there's the system inside of here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to try to make the hole as close to over here. That's my battery for the fridge. But I'm going to try to make the hole as close to the edge as possible. So I'm going to drill here. And I don't want to do too much, but pretty soon you'll see it coming through. So now this is the hole that I'm going to use for the first recess outlet. This is just a pilot. I'm going to make 4, and then I'm going to cut with the saw. See, now we're going to cut out this portion of the recess outlet with the saw. Remember, everything is being powered by this GOKWH battery that we're reviewing. I have an unboxing of the video that's going to be at the end of this video, so check that out. Here's your 120 volt recess outlet with 2 USB outlets installed. The GOKWH battery is still full even after using the saw and the drill and recharging our Ryobi battery. Up next, we're going to install this NOCO AC port plug. And again, that's going to go right on the side here to install. So we made a 2-inch hole using a 2-inch saw bit. Now we just have to slip this in there. And like magic, your NOCO plug is installed. Like I said, this is just an extension cord. This is how we're going to charge the battery, the GOKWH battery, how we recharge it. And this is how we're going to draw the power from it. So we're going to recharge it through here, and we're going to draw the power from the battery. There's the GOKWH battery. We're just going to keep showing it. I like to make these little pilot holes, just so I know where I'm cutting. So now we're going to install the USB outlet and a 12 volt plug. So this is where I want it to go, just like here, just like this. I already circled where I want to put my little circle holes. I'm using a 1 3/8, I believe, circle saw, 1 3/8 to make those holes. These are the easiest to install. This is the 12 volt plug. It's just right there. That's like a cigarette outlet. This one is the USB. Again, you just stick it in the hole and you tighten it up from the back. It's that simple. So if you guys want to see how the system looks from the inside, it's not done yet, but this is how the cuts look from the inside. Of course, I'm going to sweep up all of these dust and wood chips, but this is how it looks before you hook everything up to your system. System is going well. All right, the last piece to go in, I'm going to try to put it right here in the middle. This is the switch for the inverter. You want everything to look like it was always there. So when you try to resell your trailer, it looks like it was always there. So I'm going to cut out a hole and put this right inside of here. So I like to make the outlines like I've been showing you guys. So this is where the inverter is going to go. I like trace it out. I have a little template that I use for that. And what I do is I cut it out from the shape of the switch, and I just put it on there and I trace it. This is for you guys that don't like to measure. This is a good thing to do. And I just trace it out and then I cut it out. There's the whole peekaboo. So there's a learning curve to this. To power this, you have to long press it on and you'll see it activate on the inverter and also on the switch panel to the side here. And I like the way it came out because it looks like all of these additions here onto the trailer, like it's always been there. Once I clean it up, it looks really good. Now the display, it just went off, but it's on. Everything is powered up. And if you want to see it again, you just press it. So it's really good. Works really well. All right, below here, we hooked up the fuse box, 12-volt fuse box, and we also have the negative bus bar. So having those connected, we can start hooking up the negative side of these little terminal things here for this off-grid system. One thing I got really good at is crimping. Sometimes it's kind of hard when you're doing it by yourself, but once you get the hang of it, you can do it. So I like to just crimp these things together. Sometimes it takes longer, sometimes it takes a little shorter, but once you do it, you do it. All right, now that I have everything on, the heat shrink tubing, I have a heat gun, but sometimes I just use the heat shrink tubing with with a lighter. I mean, you get the same results. You just heat this up and everything closes in. You can use electrical tape. Electrical tape is nearly the same, but this is more practical. Sometimes I'll go over this part with electrical tape. So now I'm going to do the other side and hook it up to the fuse box. So here's a closer look at it. Okay, I have the 2-gauge wires hooked up to a 150 amp circuit breaker. That's going to be hooking up to this GOKWH battery. Now over here, we have the 2000 watt pure sine wave inverter, also with 2-gauge cables. We have the fuse box hooked up with the 8-gauge cable. And then we have all our other electronics that's going to be hooked up with 12-gauge cable. So you have to have the proper gauges in here when you're doing your build. This is only a 2000 watt inverter, so 2-gauge is appropriate for that. And I don't know what other attachments I'm going to hook up to the 12-volt fuse box, so I decided to go with an 8-gauge wire to hook up the fuse box, and then all the appliances or electronics I have hooked up to it, I'm using this 12-gauge wire. Okay, everything is hooked up in here. We have the 12-volt fuse box hooked up. We have the positive and negative bus bars hooked up. Everything is tight. We have our recess outlets. Everything is hooked up that we have so far. Down over here, we have the inverter. And let me see if we can see the circuit breaker. Here's the circuit breaker here. This is a 150 amp circuit breaker. So now let's put the battery in. Here's another look at that GOKWH 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery. We're about to install it now. Okay, after 5 hours, we have the off-grid system totally connected, powered by GOKWH 100 amp hour 12.8 hour battery, lithium phosphate. This is amazing. Here's the front panel. We can see that everything is on up there. We have lights there. This is the 12 volt outlet. This is a light. That's the only thing we have hooked up here. So I'll show you how that works. See, down here is where we have the system. And when I click this light on here, that's the light down there. So we can see when we're working down there. And I separated a storage compartment and the battery compartment. This GOKWH. Totally amazing. Now look at this huge mess I have to clean up. And of course, I've been keeping warm inside the trailer using a 1500 watt heater and this buddy heater with the fan. This is game changer right here. If you don't have a diesel heater, get one of these. Check it out, 79 degrees inside the trailer. Buddy heater going. All right, so now we're gonna do a power test for the battery. We have a 12 volt plug here for the refrigerator. Let's see if everything is up and running. So that's the refrigerator. That was the beeping noise. Just unplugged it from the other system we have and plugged it back in. That's the 12 volt working. Let's try the USB now. All right, now we're gonna test the USB. So we can just put that in and we already see that it's on. And put it in an iPhone here. There it is. It's charging. All right, the next test is going to be with this small little heater. Of course, we're going to use bigger heaters, but we can start off by using this small one. And let's see if it cut. Oh, it's already on. You can see by the light. And we move it over just a little bit. And the battery is still full. It says we're pulling about 244 watts. 266 now. We're going to keep it to see how much it's going to go up. Let me move that back so you can see it, that it's on. What are we at? 388 watts for this heater. I mean, you can pull much more with this battery system, but that's just a small amount there, 377 watts. All right, this is a much bigger heater. It pulls about 1500 watts. Let's see how it holds up with the GOKWH battery. It's on. We're going to let it run and pull energy. We're going to see how much it's pulling here. 888 watts, 999. You hear the inverter, the fan cut on. 1100, 1198. We're going to stay with it. It's still on. All right, that one, it couldn't handle that. That's the inverter. All right, we're going to cut this back on now. That was the inverter that shut off. But this said, oh, I thought I killed the battery there, but I didn't. Still says we had 13.4 volts, so it's still good. Again, that's the display cutting off. We still have a full battery. So I do have a circuit breaker that allows, I believe it's 15 to 1800 watts. It's a 150 times 12, and that's the watts that it would allow. Okay, so when we're off grid, we only use small heaters, 200, 300 watts if we're going to use an electric heater. We mostly use the Mr. Buddy heater or diesel heater when we're off grid. We won't use a heater that's known for the house, the sticks and bricks. Those heaters are no good for off-grid living. It pulls too many watts. So we have the circuit breaker to shut off the power and a 2,000 watt inverter to shut off the power because if we have too much of a draw. So we use smaller heaters with these systems. Plus only have one battery installed, but it can handle it. It's a good battery. Okay, the last test is to test the NOCO battery charger. My pup is all in the way here. Okay. Now we have to see if I can get this on there without choking myself up. Okay, now let's see. The NOCO is charging. Okay, so you can see that it's charging right there. I'll get a little closer. Maybe if I cut off this light, hold on, let me hit the switch here. So you can see it down there. The blue light is for lithium, and this is where it's at charging. So we can get it back up to 100%. I mean, it's still very high because we didn't use it that much. So we can just leave that charging, and whenever we're hooked up to shore power, our system would recharge and we can keep going there. So this is the GOKWH 100AH 12.8 volt lithium phosphate battery. All right, some of you guys want to see the unboxing, so that's where I'm going to add that part in now so you can see the unboxing, and then I'll be right back to say goodbye once you see the unboxing. So here it is. Hope you liked it. Well packaged item. GOKWH battery. This is how the GOKWH battery was delivered. Neatly packaged. We have the terminal screws here for the battery. I'm going to set that aside. We have thick cushioning here. And it's really packed in there. Let me get this out and I'll be right back to you. It is neatly enclosed. I have to see how to get it out of here. I may have to cut this out of here. Wow, they really did some packaging to make sure that this battery is not damaged during transport, during shipping. But let me see how to get this out of here and I'll get back to you. Just got it out of the foam and you still have more packaging on it. Let's get this off. This is their new and improved battery. The old battery that they had, some people opened it up and saw some problems, so they remanufactured it, rebuilt it to make it more sturdy. I see they took off the digital display that they had on the top. I didn't really like that anyway, but let's see what battery level this is. So to maintain the battery levels, I use this NOCO battery charger. This is the 10 amp one. I like using this because it doesn't use that much electricity. It's just like plugging anything in. It pulls about 110 watts, 112 watts, 120, somewhere in that area. You won't overcharge the battery. It's a smart charger, and you can have the lithium format there, so it would turn green when the battery is fully charged, so it tells you the state of the battery. This is the temporary how we're going to hook up the NOCO charger. I'm going to take off the alligator clips when I install the battery, but this is just to charge the battery to see the state. So I'm going to press this on and I'm going to push it over to lithium. You have AGM, regular lead acid, but we push it over to lithium and we start the charge. Since this battery doesn't have the monitor on the top, this is how we monitor what the charge is. So once this comes back up to green, I know that this battery is fully charged and then we can install it. Again, this is the GOKWH 12.8 volt 100 amp hour battery that comes with 1,280 watts. It's a LifePO4 battery. From the looks of it, this battery was already fully charged. As soon as I put it on, this is not even 5 minutes. It went all the way to the green. But we just leave it on to the green because it's going to trickle charge to get it to that 100%. Usually when all the lights are on, the NOCO charger is letting you know that this battery is almost at its capacity for being fully charged. So it's just going to trickle charge it till it gets to the 100%. And then these rest of these lights here will cut off and you will only have that green light. All right, I'm back. That unboxing was amazing, right? I like the way it was packed up with the styrofoam. I mean, it took me a while to get the whole battery out of there. I mean, they made sure that this battery was not going to be damaged. And this company, GOKWH, stayed in touch with me throughout the whole process. And I'm so happy to do this video for them. They did send me this battery free of charge to do an honest review. And like all the lithium phosphate batteries that I've had, this one is one of the best. And I plan to use it for off-grid adventures. And I'm going to put a code, a discount code, down in the description of this video so that if you want to check out this battery, use my code. I'm going to put a link for the code up above and get your discount for this battery. It is over $300, but you're going to get what you pay for. This is a good quality battery. So after that, that's all I got. See you later, everybody. And I'm going to give you a look at the kids and the battery system. Bye. You remember the Power Rangers? Well, this is a song for the kilowatt hour battery. Go, go, kilowatt hour battery. See you later, everybody.